The bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
Okay, you got your script ready?
Maddie, this is stupid.
Just read the lines. Remember, you're Dracula and you work at a gas station.
I want to sell you.
I'm not really getting any energy from you right now, Corey. Remember, this is the gas station horror episode.
No, I'm not doing it. We're starting the podcast. There's no way I'm going to have a humorous banner pretending to be Dracula when Leatherface, Freddy Krueger, and the Swamp Thing come in to buy gas. Not only is it highly unlikely all of them would ever be in the same room together, but Swampy would never fill up on diesel.
Fine. We'll just start the stupid podcast without a skit. Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Corey.
And this is
Hallow-Holics Anonymous, a show dedicated to all things horror and occasionally Halloween.
I think it's safe to say that when clerks exposed the world to the true horror of gas stations, the public quaked in fear at the mere notion of pumping gas and buying eggs at the local corner store. This scourge on the retail market and even the world is a terrifying playground of unspeakable evil, which is why we're talking about two movies that sum it up pretty well. Gas stations cause nothing but trouble. Yep, that's exactly what both Splinter and Retro-Active are about. Gas stations.
I prefer to think we just went temporarily insane and picked the weirdest random thing to focus on ever. Gas stations.
Well, it was like either that or watch Splinter and like The Thing, but
that's true.
On, everybody's seen The Thing. We gotta...
So Retro-Active is full of zhuzh, according to you. There's all sorts of zhuzh in it.
Heavy with zhuzh. It is dripping
There's
with
no
zhuzh.
zhuzh in Retro-Active, but we'll get to that. Point is, Maddie may have used a bunch of fancy words just now, but we pulled this theme right out of our butts, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not afraid to admit it. That being said, I'm very happy about it. I really like Splinter, and I had never seen it before. Retro-Active can burn in the fiery pits of hell for eternity.
Pretty much like we were browsing through our old episode ideas for an episode idea, and I was like, oh, Splinter. And he's like, I'd never seen Splinter. And of course I had to force him to watch Splinter, because you've got to see Splinter, guys.
It's true. And it's got that guy I really like in it.
Yeah, but you know, he wasn't born on January 27th.
On this day in horror history.
I'm proud of you. You caught on to that a little bit faster this time.
I got it.
Okay, so James Cromwell was born in 1940. Some of you might recall him as...
Apparently you don't recall him as anything. I don't recall him as anything. I don't know. I've heard the name.
He's an older actor. Obviously, he was born in 1940, but he was in American Horror Story Asylum. He was also Father Donald Callahan in the remake of Salem's Lot. You'd recognize him if you saw him.
The remake of Salem's Lot or Return to Salem's Lot? Or are they the same
remake,
thing?
not the sequel. Return is a sequel.
And the remake has Rob Lowe in it?
The remake has Rob Lowe, yes. And then I think he drinks his own blood. Rob Lowe just apparently loves vampires.
I don't know, he just keeps getting good and bad. I mean, he's pretty much like, ever since Californication, he's back on like the track of like picking good stuff. But for a very long time, between the 80s and the like 2010s, he was just doing a whole lot of crap.
He was great in Parks and Rec.
Oh, he was perfect in Parks. Everybody was perfect in Parks and Rec, though.
Anyway, Lewis Carroll was also born in 1832. He wrote Alice in Wonderland, and I can safely say I think that movie, those books, and the movies, anything related, are pretty dang creepy.
Oh, for sure.
Also, The Willies, 12 Monkeys, and Witchcraft 7 Judgment Hour were released.
Witchcraft 7. There's so many of those.
Yeah, so many witchcraft movies.
I feel like I've seen a few of them, too, which I don't know how I feel about.
It's got to be one of those series where, like, several different sequels had nothing to do with each other and had been originally named something else, and they were just like, okay, we have the rights to Witchcraft, let's just attach a sequel number.
Oh, yeah, like all the Hellraisers, definitely. That was on this day in horror history.
So, would you like to sum up what this week's game is to warm up for the episode?
Yes. This week's game, we're going to take this brilliant setting of a gas station, this terrifying setting of a gas station, and we are going to come up with scenarios for each other. I'm going to throw out a scenario to Maddie. She is going to tell me how she will survive the night in said scenario, and she will do the same to me. And I didn't write anything down, so this is going to go about as well
as it always does.
everything else.
Unprepared. Guys, sometimes I worry he doesn't take notes.
I take some notes.
You're like, I start a sentence and then I walk away and get a beer.
That's actually exactly what I did with this. I wrote down one idea and it's crap, and I'm still going to use it. And then I went off to find some whiskey and then stopped doing it.
All right, what's my scenario?
What was that William Shatner movie with the big rabbits? Was it Night of the Lemurs or something?
Night of the Lepus, I think?
Lupus. No, lupus is a disease people have.
Yeah.
Lupus.
It's always lupus. Or it's never lupus.
No, it's never
when
lupus.
It is.
Oh god, the lupus mega cut in the first season of the House DVD is hilarious. Anyway. Alright, so you're surrounded by giant man-eating bunnies. Like a bunch of them, like enough to like they're just like, you look outside, you see a bunny that's about as tall as like the gas station, like that rain hood ceiling. They're all like that big.
Is that it?
Well, I mean, you're trapped in there with probably some like teenager gas station attendant who was like about to get off work and a cop who's 2 days from retirement. How's that?
Oh, okay. So are the rabbits aggressive?
Oh yeah, they're hungry.
They're hungry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trapped in a
These
gas
are man-eating
station.
rabbits. These rabbits are not messing around.
Okay, so they are definitely not herbivores.
No. And every once in a while they make that terrible rabbit scream.
Okay, he's a teenager, right? What are his hobbies?
I imagine he skateboards.
He skateboards. Okay, I can work with that. I'm going to take his skateboard, which he probably uses to get home, right? And I'm going to get an egg carton from the back. I'm going to fill it with all the food I can, and then I'm going to kick it out the door so it can run down the road and distract the rabbits. And in the meantime, I'm going to get the cop. I'm going to get his keys, and we're going to make a run for it to the car. And of course, the teenager's going to slip and do something stupid, so he's going to attract the attention of one of the rabbits. So I'm not going to stop for him, because it's too late for him. His skateboard is going one way, he's going another. The rabbits are going both ways. We're going to get in the cop car and just ride out into the sunset.
So the cop actually gets to retire.
Mm-hmm.
See, that would work if these bunnies weren't giant and hopped on top of your car on the way out and smashed you both to nothing and then fed on your leaky blood meat.
Oh. Well, I tried.
I would like to trademark the phrase leaky blood meat. That's mine now.
That's your band name. Alright, here's my scenario for you. You and two estranged friends from childhood have a flat in Podunk Nowhere on a stormy night. While you're making a call, one of your friends who went to the bathroom is missing, and the other one looks freakishly pale and listless.
Oh my god, you actually tried. That's all I get?
Yes.
There's two people. The first one is freakishly pale and listless.
The other went missing.
The other one missing.
And there is a creepy gas station attendant. Like an old man who looks older than a living person should. You know, someone who looks like their skin is just a thin gray sausage casing and you swear you can see the veins beneath it.
What weapons do I have access to?
Typical things you'd find in a gas station.
So there's probably a fire axe. There's always a fire axe.
Well, I mean, is that in fire code regulation?
I don't know. I only know OSHA code as it relates to theater.
Okay. I'm going to say there's no fire axe, because that's just too easy.
Okay, but there's always a shotgun behind the cash register.
Okay, go on.
I kill that pale kid.
Your estranged friend, okay.
Yeah. I kill him immediately because there's something up there and I don't want to chance it. He was definitely responsible for the missing friend.
Okay.
And then I know something's up with this old man, and it's probably a double-barrel shotgun, so I still have one more round left. And I try to get the tea on what's going on from him. Does he tell me anything?
He just acts confused.
All right, I'm not going to kill him. I'm just going to hit him.
Okay, you're going to hit him.
Yeah, so he's unconscious. Probably dead because I just smashed an old man in the face with a shotgun for barely any reason. I have trust issues. What do I see outside?
All you see is darkness and rain.
The rain is probably toxic, isn't it? That's why that kid was pale.
Mm-mm.
No? Safe rain?
What do you do next?
Is there a garage attached to this gas station? Is it one of those?
Yes.
All right. So the old man's super old. There's no way he didn't park his car in that garage.
Okay.
So I grab some more shells for the shotgun, load that thing up, grab the keys. I just leave that guy. He's on his way out anyways. I grab whatever keys I can find, and I go into the garage to see if I can locate his car. Is it there?
Yes.
All right. So I get in it, I start the car, and I don't open the garage door. I just drive through it and get the hell out of there.
Okay. So, your friend went missing because he was actually just in the bathroom for a really long time. He had severe food poisoning, and so did your other friend. Your friend who's coming back from the bathroom sees what you do, and he calls the police. Now you're wanted for murder and assault.
Oh, crap. I may have overreacted a little bit. So, I am the bad guy in this movie.
You're the one who reacted without investigating. My God, your friend's pale and listless, so you shoot him?
I asked some questions. I just assumed that society was collapsing, and this felt like a little bit like a pre-zombie thing. Yours was very detailed for something for like a normal night at the gas station.
I just couldn't believe you were going so far with it.
I repeatedly have told you, if I sense society is breaking down in any way, I become a different person.
Listeners, don't get a head cold when Corey is near. And there might be a reason those friends are estranged from you.
Yeah, I think there might be. The painful truth of my life.
You made that one into a horror scenario.
Jesus, I'm a monster. So you're in a gas station. It's late at night. You're in the middle of nowhere. This kind of thing's always in Arizona. You see strange lights in the sky, off and on, all night. Like before you get to the gas station, you've been noticing these. You pull over. Everybody else in the gas station. There's probably another cop 2 days from retirement in there. This attendant, let's say, since I'm pulling this scenario completely out of my ass, this gas station attendant is, he's middle-aged. Probably has a wife, a kid, maybe.
Okay.
There's one a little bit because dude works a gas station. So yeah, you guys are in there, and all of a sudden, you see like 10 bodies just fall out of the sky. Splat.
Okay.
And there's more lights, and they're hovering.
I try to get all the water I can out of the coolers, and I just pile them along the windows and the wall open.
Keep going. But it's
Okay.
funny to say that because I did consider using those aliens, but I didn't.
I demand that the cop get in touch with local law enforcement to figure out what the hell's going on, and then I turn on the radio to hear the news.
Static on both.
Oh,
There
okay.
is no communication. There's never any communication.
No communication, huh?
There's
All
no
right.
communication.
So I find as much of the meat in the freezer as I can. You know that weird meat that some people buy at the gas station, I guess because they're desperate for food. And then I get some rat poison from the shelf. And I try to just shove as much rat poison as I can into the thing. I quickly open the door, throw the meat out, and slam the door and lock it. And then barricade it.
Okay. The first thing that happens is you see a laser beam shoot through and hit the clerk that keeps him alive but fuses him in an incredibly painful manner to his desk and cash register. And you hear in sort of edited snippets of radio why they did it. And they did it to show you how disappointed they were that you referenced Signs because they intercepted that film and hated it. Got the gas station attendant killed by referencing Signs. They ignore the meat because you can't throw food at everything and expect it to work, especially an advanced civilization with interstellar travel technology. So basically, you're in the exact same situation you were in 10 minutes ago, only surrounded by glasses of water and down a couple pounds of gas station meat. Oh, and there's this man screaming in terrible pain because he is now half cash register.
I pull open my phone. Do I have internet access?
No, you never do in these situations.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? No, I'll give it to you. You can have internet access.
Okay, I open one of those emails that, tells you free porn pills or something, and I figure out a way to forward it to the aliens in the spacecrafts above. Because I have mad hacking skills, and in Hollywood you can do anything with hacking, even if it's not realistic with computer software.
Okay, so another laser comes through the ceiling and explodes the retiring cop all over you. And the same sort of edited radio loudspeaker comes through saying how disappointed they are that you stole the end of Independence Day to try to defeat them. And they remind you that they are a advanced race who can travel the stars, and you probably can't hack them with your cell phone.
My last approach, then, is to take a pair of sunglasses and put them on.
Okay.
Eat all of the gum in the gas station. Take the cop's gun and just go full-on Rambo.
You do absolutely no damage to them, but they respect you for the attempt because they really enjoyed all the Rambo movies, and they offer you a trip to the stars with them.
Oh, yay!
They beam you up, you immediately suffocate because they didn't realize the difference in atmospheres. Not even advanced races are perfect.
We should do a choose your own adventure novel where every story ends with 2 pages because there's no happy ending.
I think that seems to be where we're headed with this.
You go to a gas station and get murdered. You wake up trapped in Hell's gas station. What's it like?
Oh, dude, it's awesome. The jukebox probably has all my favorite music on it.
There's a jukebox in the gas station?
Yeah, dude. This is hell. Everything's fun there. Satan has obviously seen my work in previous scenarios and respects me for it. So we hang out.
Okay.
Dudes like Mussolini and Hitler and like David Koresh and Gandhi have like really crappy jobs. Like they're the ones that like wash the windows and pump the gas, and like we just berate them and are horrible to them all day, every day for the rest of eternity.
Okay, so you do everything not even remotely related to gas stations in Hell's gas station.
What do you mean?
You didn't describe anything about a gas station in there.
I said Gandhi and Hitler and Mussolini were pumping gas, and Satan and I were making fun of them and just being generally shitty.
Well, you want to...
Oh, and the gas station booze never runs out, and it's not all bottom shelf.
Is this like a really weird modernized version of the Big Rock Candy Mountain now?
It's my Big Rock Candy Mountain.
As it turns out, you were not murdered. These were your last manic thoughts in the electric chair after the cops caught you for killing your friend.
Neither of us are having much luck. I mean, you survived the first one.
I was dripping blood meat, wasn't I?
In the first one?
Yes. There was the rabbits?
Oh, wait, that's right. You didn't survive. Hopping rabbits. I forgot. I didn't tell you that. I already forgot. Damn.
You survived the first one.
Only because I woefully overreacted to the situation. I'm officially dead now, though. I just got electrocuted.
Yes.
I deserve that. It's my turn. So, gas station in space, all right? But there's a man... But you're in this, like, gas station truck, or this space truck stop, right?
Okay.
And, like, you're eating, and then you see what looks like that scene from Alien, where the dude starts, like, seizing in a corner, and
Am
like,
I in
friends are all like, no, we're not in Spaceballs. So his friends are trying to help him, and, like, there's all this commotion, and there's also a space cop who's 2 days from retirement there. What do you do?
I asked the police officer what's going on.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, he says.
Okay. I stand up and demand to know if there's a doctor in the space house.
The guy helping the guy having the seizure says, yes, I'm a doctor and I'm already helping. What do you want? You're taking time away from my saving this man's life.
Is he just having a seizure?
So far.
Okay, then I get in my space car and I drive away.
You are now surrounded by space pirates who happen to be from a race that are half rabbit.
Are Are they aggressive?
Yeah, they're space pirates. Of course they're aggressive. They want all your stuff.
So I take my half-finished dinner.
Jesus Christ.
I try to negotiate with the head space rabbit pirate to ask what his demands are.
His demands are everything you have in your cargo hold.
Okay, I give him everything I have in my cargo hold.
And what is that?
Bunch of carrots. I'm a carrot dealer.
This is
a black market carrot dealer.
All right. That's good. You get out of this one. They accept your carrots. I mean, they take all. You make no money off of it, of course. Mm-hmm. They blow up the truck stop, but they let you go.
Oh, yay.
And they say they did that because they felt slightly racially profiled that you offered them a hold of carrots.
That was all I had in my hold.
Luckily, you were right, and they do like carrots, so they get away, even though it was a little bit racial. You then get a phone call. It's from the police officer's wife and young child, and they're asking why you left their daddy behind when you could have taken him too.
I'm like, how'd you get this number?
It's crying. Like,
ask them how they got my number.
It's space. They looked it up. You're on the space trucker registry.
I give them a sob story. I say, your daddy's not dead. I'm just taking him to the workshop to get him fixed. Because, you see, one of his light bulbs went out.
They immediately call bullshit and activate a space missile from their father's cop ship and blow you up.
Well, no, they don't. Because luckily, I'm a black market carrot dealer. I have a very good force field.
Oh, well, then I guess you survive.
All right, then. So, a cult sacrifices your twin brother at a gas pump, and you find out his tortured soul is haunting the gas station. How do you free him or avenge his death?
Is this the same gas station I done all those murders at?
No. This is you in a new lifetime.
Oh, okay. So this is like a Wraith kind of situation without the cool car.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't really do anything about exercising him out of, because I know as soon as I kill whoever he needs me to kill, he'll go.
Okay.
So, can you give me any special powers or like a gun that shoots like hellfire or anything?
He can give you the ability to vomit up gasoline.
So I go and find the young toughs that murdered him, and I try to turn myself into a vomit flamethrower. This backfires horribly, and I self-destruct, but I take, hopefully, at least the lead young tough with me. I'm really irritated that I screwed this up so bad, and so is my twin. So we're both stuck haunting the same gas station, but we're okay with it. Because an eternity messing with other people is really fun.
So you're just two bickering old gas pumps.
Well, you turn me into a gas pump? That's not cool. Can I get out of there and scare people? Okay.
No, you're just a gas pump.
Shit.
Oh, I think my scenario one was the best.
I do too. I think you win this one.
I like your judgmental aliens.
Yeah.
Movie critics, those are the worst, aliens to, abduct you.
But yeah, you win. And I got to suffocate you. That felt good.
And the answer is always to throw some kind of food at them.
Yeah, apparently to you. Every scenario. It didn't work until you had massive amounts of food, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got a horror pack delivery this week. It's actually pretty good. It's call it 50-75 good, because I got 5 movies instead of 4. So it's 50% bad, 75% good. So I don't want to say these two are bad, because I haven't actually heard of them, but I'm sure they're terrible. The first one is Behind the Walls, starring no one I've ever heard of. Vanessa Angel, Hutch Dano, Reggie Lee, Lou Temple, Bailey Spry.
Yeah, those sound like porn star names.
Or names people my age give their kids.
I'm sorry, Bailey. Spry.
That's a terrible name. That's very pornish. Maybe that one's not yeah. All right, so years it has waited. Now someone's moved in. Through the eyes of the evil within, we witness a broken family desperately seeking a new beginning in a new home. But this house lives, watches, and wants them to stay forever. So what, is this footage from the other side? It's ghost found footage? I don't even know.
When did it come out?
2018. It's new.
Loosely, that just sounds like We Are Still Here.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Maybe it's okay. Someday I'll open it and watch it. Like all the other ones I have.
Yeah.
The next questionable one is The Atoning. a film by Michael Williams.
That is a bad name.
Yeah, it really is. I'm trying to see if I recognize the cast. I do not recognize the cast. The local voice called it profoundly atmospheric and captures the menace of Southern Gothic storytelling, though. I do like that kind of thing. I'm sure that's crap, but we'll see. Vera, Ray, and Sam, a seemingly normal family, are haunted by more than mere ghosts. The lingering horror of their past threatens their ability to function as a loving family until they become enlightened by a mystical encounter. From that moment on, they're thrust into a horror worse than anything they've ever experienced. Personal demons manifest and tear the family apart from the inside out as they come to terms with their past.
I'm gonna tell you, that family's probably already dead.
Could be. I mean,
It's the others.
in every picture, they're like being like choked from behind by demons. So probably. All right, now we get into the guaranteed good stuff. So it really looks like, I hate to bring it up, but they're like on the cover of this one, it's the Scream Queen double feature. It looks like there's a picture of Radu on it.
Oh boy.
Really understand, but don't worry, it doesn't factor in. It is a Scream Queen double feature with The Fog and The Howling.
Huh.
Yeah, have wanted to rewatch The Howling for quite some time, and I don't think I've ever seen The Fog the whole way through, so I'm pretty stoked.
Really? Oh, it's such a wonderful Carpenter film. Like, just everything about it is spot on. Perfect.
It's the only one I haven't seen the whole way through.
The remake is, but the original is fantastic.
And finally, most people would probably call this a bad pick, but I really liked it, but not necessarily for the reasons you think. So the last one is Dylan Dog, Dead of Night. Brendan Ruth stars as Dylan Dog, a supernatural detective who will go where the living dare not, facing foe alike in the monster-infested back streets of New Orleans. Armed with an edgy wit and an arsenal of silver and wood-tipped bullets, Dylan must solve a series of murders before an epic war ensues between his werewolf, vampire, and zombie clients. Based on one of the world's most popular comic books, this inventive horror comedy will slay you with tongue-in-cheek humor and genuine frights.
So it says popular horror comic books. It sounds more like an erotic novel, supernatural novel to me.
No, it's not. It's actually this Dylan Dog comics. That's where Delamorte comes from.
Oh.
Francesco Delamorte was a character that Dylan Dog would occasionally go visit in the comics. So without this comic, Cemetery Man wouldn't exist. This, of course, has nothing to do with that, and Brendan Ruth is as wooden as usual in it, but it kind of works because he's sort of doing this, like, jaded monster detective thing. There's a lot of bad CGI, and it's not nearly as good as the comic, but it's funny, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I imagine I should be getting a coffin box at some point soon, I think February maybe, which means it'll probably be VD related.
Wait, what?
Valentine's Day.
All right, we ready to start with your movie?
Yes. Let me get a drink of water because I'm going to be yelling. Well, I don't know if I'll get myself that worked up, but I'm really irritated that I had to watch this movie again. It was just as bad as I remembered. Sorry, I'm irritated. Ugh.
You become stranded in the middle of nowhere.
What's that guy's name?
Got a little car trouble there, huh, honey?
You're a witness to a
He's
murder.
describing this like our scenario game.
You're forced to relive those moments again and again.
He's got a gun, officer!
And they just keep getting worse. Retro-Active.
Oh my god. Oh my god is right.
Driving.
What the hell? Remember that little experiment that I was working on? Got it to work.
You want proof that your machine works? You come with me.
You and I are connected. You are reading my mind, girl.
Oh, bad Belushi.
Oh, God.
You taking hold of your life. Codependent no more. I'm from Venus, you're from Mars. Leave me on up.
And he's the one who never did drugs.
Yeah. Well, he didn't self-medicate as crazy. That's why he actually went actually crazy.
Has got to be destroyed.
So the gas station attendant and the guy in the red truck die in every scenario. They're the only two that die in every one. There's no hope for them.
Retro.
God.
She killed my wife! She kicked me! She's trying to kill me! She's a psycho hitchhiker! Help me!
Oh, shut
The trailer
up.
just
Bad
gave away the
Belushi.
whole movie.
It really did. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
about to ruin the whole movie as a public service anyways, so it's okay. I'm going to be talking to you all tonight about a movie which haunted me as a young man. Before the days of video on demand and Netflix, in the early days of TiVo and in VHS's heyday, our options were a bit limited and reruns were important. Sometimes you could only find a movie or an episode of a show you missed playing on some random channel at some weird time of day or night. Occasionally you got movies that would take these spots away from what you really wanted to watch, and Retro-Active was one of these movies. Did you maybe want to watch a rerun of Buffy the Vampire Slayer you missed last week at 4 a.m. on a Tuesday? Too bad. Retroactive's on. Were you hoping to find Johnny Mnemonic playing at 11:15 on a Sunday morning? Did you maybe skip church to channel hop for it? Sorry, no can do. Retroactive is on. Retroactive was always on. TNT, USA, UPN, HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, WPXI played this damn movie all the time, randomly. Always when I wanted to watch something else. This would be fine if it was a better movie, but it wasn't. It's crap, and it ruined my late teens and early 20s because I couldn't afford TiVo. Luckily, VCRs had timers, and I'd usually remember to tape Buffy unless my roommate would change the channel and it would tape the wrong thing. And I missed most of season 4 because of her. But this isn't about Buffy or my roommate. Retroactive is a terrible movie about time travel and crime. All of it is related because the plot deems it necessary, so everyone is somehow involved. Except for some dumb family on vacation, camping in the desert in Texas. These people deserve the misery.
Well, no, at one point they do get involved.
Yeah,
The
but
little
they
boy.
weren't involved. Everybody else was involved from the beginning. Like, everybody else is part of the scheme. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we open on Frank Whaley playing some nerd scientist killing rats and then time traveling them back to life.
Can I just say this real quick, that this actually plays like a bad 90s Outer Limits episode,
Oh,
and
it
Frank
really
Whaley was
does.
in a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it really, really does. Now I want to watch those 90s Outer Limits episodes again because they weren't all bad.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great ones. In fact, Frank Whaley was in 2 of my favorites.
Was he in the nanotechnology one?
He was in the one about the hacker who wanted to destroy society. And he was in the one where the guy committed murder and an angel swapped bodies with him to give him a second chance.
I don't remember either of those. I definitely have to go back and watch them. All right, so he does that stuff, and we cut to the main part of the story. It's basically just to introduce the fact that the Texas Hadron, or what? No, it's the Texas Large Collider or something stupid like that. I think it's called. Maybe Super Collider. I forget.
Let's see, state-of-the-art time travel and atom particle restructuring something or other military facility. And there's only one guy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get to that. So Bad Belushi... We cut to Bad Belushi, and I say Bad Belushi because John Belushi is good Belushi, and Jim Belushi sucks.
I think as a personality, he's a likable person, and I want to find a Jim Belushi movie that's good, but there's just not one out there.
He was okay in the Twin Peaks season 3 stuff, but I haven't finished it yet to really judge.
He just tries too hard.
Yeah.
Way too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Especially in this one.
Yeah, and we'll get to that as well. So Bad Belushi buys some government microchips off of the back of a very empty big rig, but he doesn't pay the guy, so he doesn't actually buy them. For some reason, this trucker is just willing to hand shady Bad Belushi, who obviously they've been friends since high school because they mention it, just hands him a bunch of government microchips. He's like, yeah, pay me later. I get it. You know, even points a gun. Like, I guess this is to show that Bad Belushi can talk his way out of anything.
Yeah, I guess so. He's got charisma, as he'd probably say. Charisma. I don't know what kind of accent he's doing, but it's not a Texas one.
Well, he's doing that Texas accent that people use when they're trying to make fun of Texas.
Well, he doesn't. Okay, first of all, as far as elocution goes, he has no Texas tight tongue. And that's the thing. When you're doing a Southern accent, a Texan accent specifically, you have to pull your lips in together a little bit more. That's the difference between that and your average Southern accent. But my point here is, why were computer chips such a big deal in action sci-fi movies in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, they like took the place of cocaine from the 80s. Like everybody was like trying to like buy or get rid of cocaine in the 80s, and then in the 90s everybody was trying to buy or get rid of microchips. Then we cut to some lady who just failed miserably at negotiating for the safe release of hostages in Chicago. So she decided to go back to Texas to relax, probably to wear a giant hat, drink oil, and drive around in a big car with bullhorns on the front. Is that how Texans are, Maddie?
No, but this movie certainly likes to stereotype us intensely, and I find it a little offensive. Like, if there was racism from state to state, yeah.
This movie would have.
It's very obviously not Texas desert country. It's California.
Yeah, it's Palmdale.
Like Texas.
It's Palmdale.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I got that in the crappy, boring trivia, but we'll get to that later, too. So, yeah, she's going back to Texas, but she doesn't quite get there because she's paying more attention to her failures as a person than the road and wrecks her, I guess, Chrysler LeBaron convertible. I don't know. She gets picked up by the bad Belushi and some quiet girl, and then violence ensues.
Pregnant girl.
Oh, was she pregnant?
Yeah.
I didn't care enough to notice that about this movie ever in the 30 years of its existence. I've never cared enough to 20 years, I guess. But yeah, anyway. So it turns out the girl has been cheating on the bad Belushi with a Mexican gentleman who's also involved in this whole microchip nonsense. I assume it's because she told him and it was going to be their way out. Like, I assume he wasn't like a bad guy. So yeah, we learn this because bad Belushi goes to see his gas station attendant pal to get some microchip money, who also just happens to have some pics of the quiet girl making out with a Mexican gentleman outside of some motel. And these pictures are terrible. Not like graphic terrible, they're just terrible. They look like a bad photo spread for like some fetish magazine for people who like to get cheated on. They're not high quality pics. Like they don't look candid at all, is my point. But this isn't like a high quality film, so I guess whatever. Like, I don't even care. Like, did you get that from those pictures? Do you know what I mean?
No, not really. I didn't examine it too thoroughly.
Oh, okay. I just noticed they looked posed for.
This movie's like a scratch card. If you scratch too deep, then you're gonna remove the finish and ruin the card.
And I think because I've seen this 400 times in 15-minute increments throughout my 20s because of my lack of good TV, I have dug a little too deep in this movie. He kills his quiet lady friend for this slight and chases out the hitchhiking hostage negotiator to the it's not even poorly guarded. It's not guarded. And they try to hand wave this a little bit by saying that the place is closing in 24 hours, but it's a government facility with a time travel experiment going on. They'd still keep a guard or two there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, even if it's
more than two.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's just a budget, like justify their budget.
Well, and if they were in the process of shutting down and it was going to be in a day, they'd have already broken down all of the advanced equipment.
Right. Frank Whaley wouldn't be able to just be in there breaking rat necks and time traveling them back to life.
Probably countless millions of dollars there.
Yeah, for sure. So she breaks in, and Frank Whaley, who is the dude who's buying these illegal microchips and is therefore the cause of all of this.
Yeah, I think that was just a little too much.
I do. I think it was all like this movie sacrifices any sort of integrity for the sake of its crap plot. It's so annoying. So he lets her in. She accidentally gets time traveled back 20 minutes because he drops a cup on the right key on his little 80s, 90s keyboard.
He just can't do anything right.
No. So she time travels back 20 minutes to have all this fun over again. Of course she tries to fix this stuff, but it just keeps getting worse. Cops are murdered, parents and children are killed, cars explode, gas stations are set aflame, trucks flip, cars flip. It's chaos and it's all terrible. Don't let any of these explosions fool you. This is a terrible movie.
But it is great that it was still a time when they were doing real explosions and real pyrotechnics.
Okay, yeah, I will give you that. They were really blowing up the stuff they were blowing up, but that's about it. After about 4 or 5, actually it's exactly 4 scenarios because I read it in the crap trivia on IMDb. There are 4 scenarios, each more messy than the last. Our hero realizes the only way to fix everything is to pretty much stay out of it. They travel back one more time, and this is where things get super confusing is not the right word. Dumb is a better word, but that's not the right. They haven't invented a word for this yet. They travel back in time one more time, 2 hours before all this starts.
Paradox.
Yeah, it is a paradox, but that's too smart for this movie, so I'm not using it. So they go and they do nothing except tell a highway patrolman that an armed fugitive is out and about that day. And for some reason, because they traveled 2 hours back, the time machine is destroyed. But the time machine would only be destroyed in the timeline from before they went 2 hours back. So they solved nothing. The time machine is still fine. You know? Like, there's no, like, this isn't like some time-spanning time machine. It exists in our time. It exists in the past. It exists in the future. That's how you get it.
It is safe from
so you can't,
the evil grip of Jim Belushi.
Bad Belushi. We're not using his name tonight.
Bad Jim Belushi.
You still did it. So yeah, basically we learned what we already know is if you want time to be right, don't mess with time. That is rule number 1 of time travel. Don't screw around with it. Everybody knows that.
I think it was more that it was supposed to be a coping thing for her as a storyline. She was a hostage negotiator who did fail. And this experience was supposed to teach her that there are some tragedies she needs to let go and she can't save everyone.
Oh, I agree with that. But why bring it up when they don't even define those parameters in the film very well? It's barely a plot point because this movie's dumb.
Well, they outline it in the beginning. You don't need to see it again. They even give you a flashback.
It's half-assed.
Well, I don't know. I think it's an okay, like, background movie or one-time watch only, you know?
I knew you'd say that.
I'm sorry, I can't passionately hate every movie you passionately hate.
Look, we'll get to the part where I insult you later, okay? So fixing it apparently entails a huge gunfight where everyone on the bad guy team, except for the scientist who is on the bad guy team because he caused all this, they all die, and the quiet girl gets arrested by the cop. So apparently, even though, like, I think that the Mexican dude in the red truck was just doing stuff to try to get, like, I don't think he was actually a bad guy. But, oh no, he had something to do with the microchip, so he had to get murdered too. Except, unless you're a scientist.
He didn't pull over and stop, which means that the guy in the truck probably got to the gas station first and didn't stop and rubberneck. So when Belushi gets there and sees those pictures, of course that's when he's going to pull out his gun and freak out. That's how it happened. He got there first. That's why.
I understand why it happened. Like, I understand how it happened. Like, this movie's painfully simple in its storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I just don't. I feel like this movie was going for, like, yeah, everybody got what they deserved, blah, blah, blah. It's the 90s. Everything's extreme. I don't know what that has anything to do with anything, but that's a 90s thing. But I don't think that I didn't see the Mexican guy as someone who was getting what he deserved. I thought he was kind of caught up in this because of the quiet girl. I mean, I still don't care that he died. I don't care about anybody in this movie. But I think he was the least deserving of his fate.
There's a very sort of, like, end sequence of Terminator 2 to this movie. You know, when she's driving into the desert with her son. It's like that scene is the whole film.
Kind of, yeah. And
like, I think very sepia.
And I think they did that on purpose, too. I think they used the whole desert backdrop as kind of like a, look at this blank slate where we can write time on, you know. The same reason they always use deserts, because everything done in this movie has been done before. I mean, that said, the deserts of Palmdale are quite beautiful.
They're not Texas deserts.
Yeah, they are not Texas. They are obviously not Texas deserts. Even I knew that, and I'm a Yankee.
I'm pretty sure they probably could have, like, affordably filmed somewhere like Midland to solve that problem.
I'd imagine so.
Texas desert, but,
yeah.
You know, whatever.
So this movie kind of sucks. Everybody is just kind of phoning it in, except for Bad Belushi. He's so over the top, he's not even in the same movie as everyone else. Is this how Texans really are, Maddie?
Not from what I can recollect.
Okay. I mean, I know I kind of asked you that, but it was more about their look before. Like, not all Texans wear, like, big belt buckles and talking obviously not Texas accents.
No, we don't. We don't ride horses to school.
No.
We don't sit outside around the fire stirring beans.
Okay, so I didn't just dox you because Texas is so big, right?
Texas is pretty
We've
big.
talked about Texas before. I totally hate this movie, but there's one moment that I kind of love. I don't remember when it happened or exactly how it happened because I didn't care enough about this movie to remember the detail or go back and look for it. But at some point, there's this moment where the scientist and the negotiator kind of realize how futile and dumb the whole situation is, and they take a moment and they like talk about how like no matter what they do, everything is just going bad. And it's like a 1 second conversation, and I get that they're talking about traveling backwards in time and changing history, but it really feels like they're talking about how much they wish they weren't in this movie. And it's hilarious if you consider it like this meta moment. But I hate everything else, and I'm really mad at Maddie because she made me watch it, and she's kind of a jerk.
Listen, you wanted to watch it.
I don't think I did.
Well, let's travel back in time.
I think I said I wanted to watch it. Yeah, but I didn't think it would make me this mad all over again. I thought it was more of a grown-up.
Maybe next year when you watch Retro-Active again, you'll feel differently.
Oh, God.
Like I will about Wolf, because I just know next time I watch it, it'll somehow be a good movie.
I got called a man-child like 30 times this weekend, and I'm definitely a man-child. Anyway. So the director has only done crap movies. He did like movies like Carnosaur 2. He did that Lou Diamond Phillips movie Bats. I was really excited for this movie Bats because like on every poster I saw the title was upside down like a sleeping bat, and I just thought that was so blatant and amazing. But it was a terrible movie. I'd like to watch it again though, just to see if it was really as bad. It's not retroactive bad, but I remember Bats being a bad movie.
I remember being massively disappointed that they would use bats and there were no vampires.
Yeah, I think I had that same disappointment. I really like Lou Diamond Phillips though. Like it's always good to see him in a movie. And that was like the first time I remember seeing him in something theatrical in quite a while when that came out. So this guy also did Hitcher 2, which is also terrible. Jake Busey's in it, but that means nothing. Go watch the original Hitcher if you want to see a good movie called The Hitcher. Rutger Hauer's in it. It's amazing. If you want to see Jake Busey at his best, though, watch From Dusk Till Dawn, the series on Netflix. He plays Sex Machine, Tom Savini's character in the movie.
Sex Machine's the best.
Yeah, he's actually really great. They turned Sex Machine into this history professor with this weird like leather biker fetish thing going on.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I actually really recommend From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. It's pretty good. This is normally where I'd tell you something interesting about the movie, like technical details and trivia, but there really isn't any. And the stuff I found is all super boring, just like the movie, but we're going to get into a couple things. This is seriously the stuff I found written about this movie. This is how boring everybody involved, even people writing about this movie. This is how boring they all are. A piece of trivia. It was hot in the desert while they filmed, and sometimes there were windstorms. Of course there were. It's the desert. They had to wear goggles. Of course they did. There were windstorms in the desert.
There was a lot of sand.
Right. In the desert. All those outside scenes were filmed in Palmdale, California. Like I said, who cares? Palmdale is beautiful, but they could have used Texas and it would have been just as easy and made just as much sense.
Or they could have just set it in California.
Mm-hmm. Here's a good one. The hostage stuff happened in Chicago. Jim Belushi is from Chicago. Not trivia. It's just where a dude's from. Okay. Kylie Travis, the girl who played the negotiator, was discovered while auditioning for another movie. Of course she was. That's how this stuff sometimes works. That's not trivia either. That's a hiring process.
She's a natural blonde.
Also, she's from the UK but lived in Australia, which is painfully obvious because she's trash at hiding her accent. It's so irritating that sometimes, like, you can just hear that little hint of an Australian dialect happen sometimes when she talks. And I like the accent. That doesn't bother me, but it bothers me when it's just like a syllable in a word and she keeps going back into that. It was really frustrating.
I feel the same way about some actors sometimes. So Hugh Jackman, I'm sorry, I love you, but come on.
Yeah, he's pretty bad about it. Shannon Worry, the quiet girl, is also in Omega Doom, which I really want to watch again. Rutger Hauer again. There's a theme in my life. He plays a cyborg in a world after the cyborgs revolt and kill most of the humans. who gets hit in the head and decides that instead of killing humans, he wants to defend humans. And he has a laser boomerang and a spear.
That sounds okay.
No, not, but I love it. It's a terrible movie. So finally, all of you owe me for ruining this movie for you. I've saved you 90 minutes of your life. Someday when there's a Patreon, you remember what I did for you. Thank you for your time.
You're like, that was also one of the trivia things. It was weird. James is spelled with a J. So is Jim.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I could find about this movie. It was terrible. It was filmed with cameras.
Are you ready to move on to a film that's a little bit more entertaining?
Please, for the love of baby Jesus, can we do that?
Our next film, guys, is Splinter.
Which was pretty dope. Simple, but dope.
I think I'm going to like camping.
I like how they ended up making this unbalanced relationship work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not right.
Well, what do you want to do?
Turn it off. Get in the car. Pull over.
The trailer's kind of cheap.
Hello?
Oh yeah, this may be why I never saw it, because I probably saw the trailer and then immediately forgot about the movie.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it was slapped together in Windows Movie Maker.
What was that?
Yeah, really.
Move away from the glass. They tracked us somehow.
We gotta get out of this gas station.
Wait.
Why did there just... Did you just hear that bobcat noise?
No.
The gun. You're under arrest. Get in your car. There's something out there.
Ugh.
Run!
Watch the splinter. Don't want to stick you. There.
More explosions.
It's gonna get near me. It's gonna
Well, it's gas stations. Mm-hmm. They're very flammable.
You okay?
Orange mocha frappuccinos. Roadkill. Just avoid it. Especially if you see it twitching on the ground or crawling through the grass with giant moving spikes attached to its broken spine. Those are two of the main lessons Splinter reveals in this journey, with several very flawed characters who just want a couple of scripts, a free ride to Mexico, and a nice night camping under the stars. Also, fungus is scary. The director, Toby Wilkins, hasn't done a lot of work besides this one, but he did direct Grudge 3 and the Grudge web series, along with a few shorts here and there. I think after, really reviewing Splinter this time around, I'd like to see more from him, and I'm a little disappointed I haven't, because this film's been out for 11 years now.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it was, 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that really surprised me.
It's got a solid cast. You've got Charles Baker, who plays the biology student. You got Jill Wagner, who plays his girlfriend. You've got Paulo Costanza, who plays a guy named Seth. And then finally, among a few others, you've got Shea Wiggum, who plays Dennis. And he is just fantastic, as we discussed earlier. He was in Boardwalk Empire, he was in the Fargo series, Take Shelter. He really draws your attention, no matter what the size of his role, and I just really loved his performance in this. He played a character...
There's just something about his delivery and the way he talks that is so captivating. I love that dude.
Yeah. When you first watch this, he plays a character who you just absolutely hate at the beginning. Someone who you just think of as just this trashy douchebag criminal. And his journey through the story is really redemptive, and that's what I love about it. You know, kind of like any really good story where the bad guy is more of an anti-hero, like Assault on Precinct 13. You know, the two guys in jail who end up being kind of their best assets in the gang violence.
Mm-hmm.
And this was also one of those movies I regretted avoiding for so long, and then absolutely just loved once I gave it a chance.
Yeah, me too. I'm really glad. Look, like I said, this may have been on my radar at some point, but I'm glad you brought it up and made me watch it because I really enjoyed it. I had a weird problem with it though. I was trying to hook my laptop up to, and this is probably boring for everybody, but I'm going to tell this story anyways. I was trying to hook my laptop up to the house's TV that I was staying at last night so we could watch this, and I couldn't get the TV. It was a 1080p TV. My laptop was on 1080p. It was through HDMI. Everything should have worked right, but for some reason, the aspect ratios didn't match, so the sides of the movie were cut off. And I'm pretty sure I missed some stuff, especially in the when the girl gets attacked by the restroom guy.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have missed something there, but I'm sure if you're going to get to that, we'll cover that in a minute. But yeah, it was a really weird problem I had watching this last night.
Well, a lot of the creature sequences were actually really fast, really sharp cuts. You didn't get a lot of an eyeful of them until kind of the end of the film, where you get a really good shot of the, like, mega transformed cop or girlfriend or whatever just climbing along the side of the building and, like, banging, trying to get inside. That's the only time you get a really, really clear view of the creature.
Yeah, even that was a little confusing to me, because I thought after the cop had gotten torn in half, I thought that the splinters were knitting her back together. It looked like that's what I knew that the top half got taken to the roof, but it looked like the bottom half and top half were. So I thought it was actually creating a second splinter monster, but it was really just attaching itself to the girlfriend. And
yeah,
it was a little
expanding.
Yeah, the way they cut that stuff was a little bit real weird. That's not a complaint. It kind of added to the confusion in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They used a lot of camera tricks. I felt like most of the flashes were really quick and really effective. Sometimes it didn't work, and sometimes I would have liked to have seen a little bit less CGI and a little bit more physical effects, but I think with the budget they were working on, they did a great job.
I agree. Nothing looked too CGI.
Yeah, and there's some really solid atmosphere and music in this film. It works really well.
It's a really, really balanced movie, too. Like, everybody in the movie is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's not
a cheesy, like, forced reason.
Yeah, it's not cheap like Retro-Active. It's everybody has their role. You know what I mean? You have the doctor there to sort of go on a little bit of a hero's journey to go from, like, the sort of, like, brainy coward who can't set up a tent to, like, this hero character.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. And they kind of flipped the script on the girl, too, where she was sort of, like, at first it was such an unbalanced relationship in the beginning. I thought for sure that it was going to come up that, like, she was into him for money or something like that. But no, it just turned out they complemented each other that well.
Yeah, they do a great job of fleshing out these characters as people. When, again, at first you are given the impression that they're just going to be shallow stereotypes, like the nerd, the junkie, the cheerful, out of his league girlfriend, right? And so it opens with 3 storylines: 2 couples and 1 unlucky gas station attendant, right? One couple is pretty normal, biology student, carefree, beautiful girlfriend going camping. And then a couple of unfortunate bank robbers trying to make a break from Mexico, while the tweaker chick is struggling without a way to get her next hit, and her desperate boyfriend just wants to get them to Mexico safe and sound. They just happen to pick the worst pit stop.
Are we spoiling this movie?
Just a little.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure it's okay. Because didn't it turn out that his master plan wasn't to go to Mexico to make everybody think they were going to Mexico, and then he was going north? I
don't quite remember if that was the case. I just know that his main goal was getting the money to the woman he had the chain for, I think.
Right. Oh, I love that too.
Pay her back, or was his daughter? I don't quite remember.
No, the money was going to the victim of the family of the victim he killed.
Ah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he really was. The whole thing was a story of redemption, I think, for him. I think he really stood out. And it's an equally great example of a story that pretty much takes place over the course of one day and night. And not the same day and night being repeated over and over again, just straight up day and night.
It wasn't even a day. It was 20 minutes. Retro-Active takes place in 20 minutes for 90 minutes.
Now, I do have some incoming pretension warning right here. So I'm going to have to affect a British accent for this.
I think at this point our audience just expects you to get pretentious. So.
You ask.
You made me watch Retro-Active. I'm allowed to be mean to you today.
Much like a medium-bodied red, this film can pair well in a double feature with any sort of horror film.
Yeah, it was pretty pretentious.
Yeah, it works with any other, like, horror movie. You can pair it with anything. It's just great.
I don't know. You think you could watch this and Return of the Living Dead in the same night?
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's a little like this and Night of the Demons.
You start either week. If you were to do, I think, this and Night of the Demons, I would say start with Night of the Demons. If you were doing this and Night of the Living Dead, start with this.
I think you're right. I think it pairs really well with The Thing, like we were talking about earlier, but I don't know if it does quite as well with the horror comedy. I don't know if I agree with you here, but that's okay. We're allowed, like you said.
So most of the reviews are kind of like mixed, a little slightly better reviews on the good side than the bad side, and it did win like 6 awards at the Screamfest Horror Film Festival. It just, for the most part, seems pretty overlooked, and even some of the good reviews say, well, this is an okay movie that's kind of mediocre. There's some good moments, but it's not amazing. But I don't think that's true. And I also don't think that any of us disagrees that Ash's infamous hand removal and chainsaw substitution is awesome in Evil Dead. But the self-dismemberment scene in Splinter really gives it a run for its money. Oh my god.
Can't remember the last time I cringed and felt, but when the doctor character dropped that cinder block.
Jesus.
That was so, like, I felt that in the back of my teeth.
And you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
That hand was coming off somehow. Oh.
That was so rough.
Yeah, and it was great. Now, as far as the director's opinion about this monster, which is, as the biology student describes, some kind of fungus, right? The director sort of described it as a creature that has managed to be undisturbed for years due to the sheer remoteness of the area and the wilderness it lived in. And much like The Thing, it forces whoever it takes over to become another of its species. I just thought that was a really cool description.
I think that there's like a parasite that ants can get that turn them into like zombie ants.
Yeah.
And the parasite like makes them do what the parasite needs them to do until he's done with them, and then they move on. I sort of felt like that with this stuff too, which, I mean, fungus, bacteria, if it's doing that, then, you know, it's cool. But yeah.
I think the fact that it forms these sharp spikes is even more disturbing, frankly.
And the sound that those things made when they grew too was just like the tearing sound.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's a creature feature done right, because I think of all the horror genres out there, creature features have to be the most difficult to absolutely nail, because it's a big part of it is about design and just believability.
Mm-hmm.
I think they balanced it pretty well.
Yeah, it's really easy to fall under campy, and I mean that's what happened with Frankenstein, movie wise. Like, why is the Whaley? Was that the director?
Wilkins. Toby Wilkins.
No, I mean of Frankenstein. James Whalen. It doesn't really matter. My point is, he saw the camp coming. James Whale, that's it. So he saw the camp coming, so he just jumped directly into it. And that got worse until we get to House of Frankenstein, which is terribly campy and just in generally a terrible movie. So it is really hard to walk that tightrope between realism and camp with monster movies. And this, you're right, this pulls it off beautifully. This is almost a perfect movie, I think.
Yeah, just about. Like, I really urge anyone who has given it a pass just because, judging by either the time it came out, because it's very easy to believe that a 2000s movie just isn't good, or just doesn't want to watch it because of the poster. Just watch it anyway. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, plus that doctor, the guy who plays the doctor, like, I feel like he annoys me most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked him in this.
Oh, I liked him in this a lot too.
I think it's all those kind of thinner actors with curly hair and like sharp jawlines. They tend to be cast as like the annoying everyman, and that might be why he usually gets on your nerves.
Could be. I'm looking up what else he did. This
I
director,
American Pie.
Oh no, he was in Road Trip. He was super annoying in Road Trip. That's what it was. Oh, and he's the douchey guy in Royal Pains. Now I see why I don't like him, because I'm not meant to like him in anything he does. So I guess that's good for him. He was in The Expanse? I don't remember him in The Expanse. I didn't finish The Expanse yet, so I got to do that.
It's also really cool that of the 3 characters, not one single one of them becomes the main hero. All of them really do pull their weight.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, they all get their journey. They all get their moments too.
Yeah.
And they all get their moments to do the opposite of what you'd think they'd do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really cool. For any Teen Wolf fans out there, this director did a few episodes of Teen Wolf, the series, as well.
That is not hard to believe at all. I hope it was the early seasons, because frankly, after like season 2, I couldn't watch anymore. So that was Splinter. Do you have anything to add?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it. I mean, it's a hard movie to talk about, like you said, because there's not a whole lot to it. But that's kind of what I like about it is it's so simple that it has to focus on the characters and it has to make you like these characters to pull it off. And it does beautifully.
Oh, yeah. And, a lot of people seem to forget that what makes a good movie is good writing, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, good acting and character structure. And so many horror movies that just get churned out do not have that behind them. And it makes me sad because it makes a lot of people disrespect the genre in the whole. Or it's people who disrespect the genre are just writing the script and they think that horror movie watchers just want jump scares.
Mm.
Or just want a reimagining of everything they've seen a million times before.
Exactly. Or they just want to see somebody twitch in fast motion.
Yeah, exactly. It's
that
ridiculous.
Happens a lot too. Yeah.
House on Haunted Hill did it well, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what started the whole thing, 13 Ghosts in a House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
I will say I'm really glad that movies like Splinter exist because I'm glad that there is still – I'm going to go back to Cemetery Man again. We all know how I feel about Cemetery Man, but I discovered Cemetery Man by walking into a Blockbuster video and being like, this looks dumb. I'm going to watch it. And it turned out to be the single most defining film of my entire life. And I'm really like seeing movies like Splinter that I didn't even know existed. Like knowing that there are movies like that still out there is so exciting to me that I might find another Cemetery Man. You know what I mean? That I might find another like City of Lost Children or Delicatessen. Yeah. Like I'm glad that those movies are still out there to discover and apparently always will be because I always like once a year I find one. More so now that we're doing this show, but
yeah. Well, that's one reason I started this show so that I could discover more movies I wouldn't have given a chance to. Anyway, if you want to check out our blog, you can find us at Hallow-Holic.blogspot.com or Hallow-Holic.wordpress.com.
You can talk to us at Twitter if you would like to. You can search for Hallow-Holics or at Nowhere23.
You can email us at Hallow-Holics@outlook.com. We would love to get an email, guys, even if it's just a love letter or a threat, maybe. That would be cool, too. We'll read it on the air.
The laws of the universe and internet dictate that I must tell you to find us on Podpedia. You can search for our portal, which is HHA.
All right, you have a script ready for the next sequence?
What did I tell you? I told you I'm not doing this. You made me call Swamp Thing Swampy. I know I'm getting a little meta because now I'm talking about the script of the script, but nobody has called him Swampy since... Actually, that's not true.
You called him Swampy last time. I was trying to be respectful of your wishes. Now, okay, I'll be Leatherface, right? And I'm trying to buy a pack of cigarettes.
No, I'm not doing it. I will quit before I do this nonsense with you. It doesn't make any sense. You're not even doing a good Leatherface. He screams more than he grunts.